Welcome back to Squawk Box. Let's get some parting shots from our guest host, Senator Pat Toomey. I've been waiting for this part all morning. You have two bills in Congress, three, designed to help the formation of capital, especially for small business. Let's talk about the one that has to do with the number of shareholders for company.
Right. So for many years, as you know, if you reach 500 shareholders as a private company, you become subject to the reporting rules of a public company, which is extremely onerous and very expensive to comply with. And many of us think that that's too low. It's been there for a long time. There's so much more information available, so much easier to disseminate that information. We've got a bill to lift to 2,000 the number of shareholders that can invest in a private company without being subject to that. Tom Copper, Democrat from Delaware, is a co-sponsor.
And you've got one with Senator Schumer about IPOs for small business.
Right, and this sort of creates what we call an on-ramp. So relatively small companies, total sales less than $1 billion for their first 5 years after doing an IPO. They're not subject to the full range of regulations. They've got a lot of reporting requirements, but for instance, they would not be subject to 404B of Sarbanes-Oxley, arguably the most onerous part of Sarbanes-Oxley.
What does that do now? Tell us.
This bill would allow you to go public without being subject to all of the reporting. That's all the auditing of your financials.
So it's not like there's not going to be disclosure.
Oh, you've got full disclosure, you've got reporting, you've got the quarterly reports, all of that. But Sarbanes-Oxley is a very expensive outsourcing of a review of your internal controls and procedures. And big companies can afford it, small companies can't.
Expanding from 500 to 2,000 shareholders. Those that might be against it, what would the argument be against it?
You know, I haven't heard a good argument. We had a hearing. We had people come in. I didn't hear a good argument against it. You know, these generally are sophisticated investors. There's certainly, you still need to do a prospectus. They still need to be informed about the risk they're taking. But, boy, it sure helps a company that's bumping against that limit to find another way to raise capital, which is to go to another way.
How much paternalism there's going to be?
Entirely like they make way too much.
There's bipartisan support. I'm optimistic. John, you're going to get them done.
Doomed. They make way too much sense.
We go a long way, and this is this article I was talking about earlier, to protecting shareholders before they have a chance to invest.
Yeah.
And so there's all these barriers that say, we don't want you to be, because obviously the political fallout is terrible. What about the third bill, Senator?
Third bill is with John Tester. There's a provision in the securities law called Regulation A, which allows you to issue a single discrete security without being subject to all of the SEC regulations. But the limit is $5 million. Not very useful. So we lift that limit to $50 million. About that, there's almost perversity. So I think we ought to be able to get these three things
We've seen this happen time and again, though. All these great ideas that both sides agree on, nothing can happen.
Well, I'm not giving up on this. I'm going to fight hard.
Senator Tester better hurry with some bills if he wants to get them through, I guess,
you know, I'm looking forward to working with anyone who wants to move the ball down the field.
No, he's got a tough re-election coming up.
You said earlier this morning that you thought it was a good thing that the private equity Bain discussion is getting out there right now, and in terms of the election later this year. Will private equity, Bain, and that whole topic, if Romney is the nominee, will it even be an issue?
Oh, I think they'll make it an issue, but I don't think it's an issue that can take down Governor Romney. As I said, I lived through a campaign where I was attacked for having been a derivatives trader on Wall Street, and that didn't defeat me in a big swing state with a big Democratic registration advantage. The fact that Governor Romney worked in an industry that helps bring capital and create jobs, that's not going to.
Senator, thanks. We really appreciate it. Andrew, it's already 9 o'clock back here, so if you were to leave now, you won't even get back here till sometime this afternoon, so I'm not really sure. I mean, why leave now out there? If you're not here tomorrow, we can do it again. Just don't put yourself out.
He's got to go for a wheat fruit shake out there.
He's got
lunch for a wheat fruit shake.
It's Hollywood.
I know.
Joe, I think you got to get on if you get a plane now, you get on a plane now.
I know. That's what I mean. Anyway, Andrew will be back.
Come on over this way.
All right, make sure you join us tomorrow. Squawk on the Street is next.